Midnight river, silver sky, I heard the ancient spirits cry. Dust and fire beneath my feet, every heartbeat drums a beat. Crimson shadow on the rise, truth reflected in my eyes. No more chains, no more disguise. I was born to chase the light. Feel the current in my veins, breaking through these old remains. Every scar becomes a flame, calling out my secret name. Blood moon oracle, speak to me. Unlock the wild inside of me. Energy flowing endlessly. I'm alive, I'm finally free. Dancing where the shadows glow, following the signs I know. No fear left inside my soul. Blood moon oracle, take control. Neon stars and desert winds, every ending now begins. Open roads and open hearts, freedom tears the dark apart. I can hear the future hum like 1,000 beating drums. Sacred fire on my tongue, this is where I come undone. Feel the thunder in my chest, no more living second best. Every moment heaven said I become the element. Blood moon oracle, speak to me. Unlock the wild inside of me. Energy flowing endlessly. I'm alive, I'm finally free. Running through the midnight gold, leaving fear out in the cold. Now the universe unfolds. Blood moon oracle, take control. Raise your hands into the night, turn your pain into the light. Every soul was born to fly underneath the crimson sky. We were never meant to crawl. Hear the universe call. Blood moon oracle, guide my way through the dark into the day. Energy will never fade. I was born unafraid, living free beneath the stars, healing every hidden scar. No matter where in time we are, the blood moon knows exactly who we are.
Welcome today to Blood Moon Oracle. Today is Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to all you beautiful, wonderful, amazing women who, even if you have not birthed, many of us, play that we stand in position for, people in general in this capacity. So if you've ever mothered anybody or anything, some of us are plant mothers. Happy Mother's Day. This is for you. I wanted to put together a special reading today just for mothers in general. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you feel led. My name is Leticia, and you are watching Blood Moon Oracle. To start off today's reading, I would just like to take a moment. I felt a call to bring in some crystal energy that may in fact, be relevant to the reading, to what we're talking about today. The first crystal is carnelian. And this crystal attributes to creativity. It's a beautiful crystal. This was a crystal that was given to me by my son. So this one is very special to me. I wanted to bring this one out. It was so beautiful. See how beautiful that is? So many amazing things we can do with the elements of the earth. This crystal actually inspires creativity. And so this may in fact relate to our second chakra. Very beautiful. I also brought out my rose quartz, which actually is a crystal that represents love. If you want to tap into your heart chakra, the fourth chakra, this is a perfect crystal for that. And it just looks motherly, doesn't it? Very beautiful. So bringing out the energy of creativity and love. And then lastly, we have citrine. And citrine, I especially brought out this one because this crystal actually taps into the energy of abundance. Yes. Who doesn't need abundance? We all do. And so these are the crystals that I brought out today for Mother's Day. And we're speaking these energies over all the mothers today. Creativity, love, and abundance are the themes that we start the reading with. I did bring out several special decks that I'll be using today. The first is my Priestess Light, the Muse Tarot, Numerology, Oracle Sevens, Energies deck, Divine Abundance, and my African Goddess Rising. I feel especially called to these decks. Some of them I've had for a very, very long time. However, they never get old. I can go back to these very old decks that I started with and get some very relevant messages out of these decks. And so I felt especially called to these decks today. So we are going to get started. I just wanted to show you what I'm working with today for the message. Welcome, mothers. All right, and the first deck I'm going to tap into is going to be my Priestess Light Oracle deck. This is absolutely one of my favorite Oracle decks. This deck is from Sandra Ann Taylor and Kimberly Weber. The artwork and the illustrations are so amazing. I did cleanse my decks and prepare them beforehand. Spirit, what is the message you have for our mothers today? What do we need to know? What is your message of encouragement for us right now? All right. So I have summoning power. See how beautiful that is. Courage. There's been a theme around lions lately. It's been very powerful and touching earth. So the message is coming out here right now is all about tapping into our instinctual, our intellectual, our ability to manage what it is that we have at our disposal. We're talking about the power that lies within, being able to tap into that, not only tap into it, but also control it. Power does no good if we're not able to control it. Imagine a big, large, there's a story about a black stallion and this very big, giant horse. It was beautiful. It was black. It was powerful, fast, long flowing hair, but it was untamed. And so the story was about a man that was bent on catching it so that he could tame it. And the idea around taming the black stallion was that if you take power and then you take something like discipline and you match them together, you get an amazing result. And so the idea about this man wanting to capture the black stallion is about harnessing that power to utilize it, right? And I feel like that's coming up here, even though this is a picture of two wolves. Wolves sometimes can represent communication, teaching, learning, some type of skill that's being harnessed here around teaching and learning, possibly. And there's two of them. There's power in two. So there's lots of messages coming in through this picture for me, not to mention they're standing in front of the moon. It feels like there's a lot that's unknown here that can be tapped into. And of course, it's nighttime, and this could be around, tapping into the moon power and channeling it, along with other specific gifts that we hold within. The energy feels very still and quiet and strong, resonating from above. I feel like this would be a message around understanding the power that we have. We have more than we realize. And there could be something inside of your life, perhaps a relationship or some type of recent challenge. You may have felt powerless to handle it. But I feel like Spirit is bringing this back around to let you know that you are, in fact, not powerless. You have a level of intellect and instinct at your disposal within you that you have to kind of dredge up. You have to muster up the courage, right? Interestingly, to actually take the necessary action. You have everything that you need. Instinct is all about trusting yourself. Intellect is all about, these wolves are all about the power of understanding, learning, teaching, intellect. This may also be a time to pull in and harness unhealthy patterns that we have not checked within ourselves. But understanding that we have the upper hand, even though we do have wild instincts, they can be tamed, right? That's what this is all about. There's something about honoring self and acknowledging the control that we have and being honest about our ability to prioritize what it actually is that we need, not what we want, but what it is that we need. Yeah, looking at the strength that lies within us and this bit of fierceness and the support that we have all around us as we look how the lion is nestled above her head. Yeah, the lion represents a lot of power, strength, courage. The fact that it is right above her is almost like a reminder that we are ready for anything. This might be also a indication or some type of important event that's happening for you or is on the horizon. There's some type of situation right now that may require you to summon up your courage and even take new risks. You're able to do it. You have everything within to do it. And the lion is known, of course, we know as the king of beasts because it's mighty. It carries this bit of strength and regality. And so whatever situation that's being faced right now may need a strong level of communication. It may need a bit of indirect action. But whatever that is, this is letting you know that you have the courage to not only express your truth, but to make your desires known. This is not really about pandering to others, but it's about you making your desires known and you taking action on your own behalf in regards to whatever it is that's being dealt with right now. The word courage comes from the French word heart. And this is telling you that even if you have felt like a sense of uncertainty or a little bit of scared energy or schism around the past, there's something about the strength that you carry right now that's bringing in this self-actualized clarity. It doesn't matter if it's talking about relationships or situations that we're dealing with. Maybe at home, it could be situations within your business or whatever you do for work. This is you standing up and expressing your truth. And one that's coming from your divine heart. The lion is actually a very social animal, and it lives in groups and families. So on a practical level, we could be being sent the message that there's a need to really care for what's important to you as it pertains to family, or maybe to encourage someone else to take better care of themselves. There may be a specific person coming your way that's related to you in some type of way that you may need to relay this message to. This is also a time where Spirit is bringing out the energy around planting something new, touching earth, making some type of offering to earth. Because we're talking about planting and sowing, cause and effect. It always works. That is a principle of the universe, and it cannot come back void. It cannot lie. It's a law. Spirit may be asking you to bring a greater understanding, your greater consciousness to certain casual seeds that you are planting inside of your energy field. Pay attention to that. This is an angel underneath, kind of like, I see different colors underneath a spectrum or some type of rainbow. And it's talking about the aura, the intentions, and things that we can do to help them grow and to cultivate what it is that we desire. So there's something about considering the garden that we're planting when it comes to what we want, our dreams, and to take action. She's doing something, or she, because it's a priestess, she's doing something here, connecting with the earth or planting something, giving something. She's taking action. And there's the belief here around taking action that there's going to be something given back. Something that will blossom beautifully and bountifully. Spirit may be asking you to take action right now through this message. Whatever the desire of your heart, Spirit is saying, take action on it, move on it. There may be some type of new project that you have yet to begin. You have been putting other things before that, or just not really giving yourself permission to start it. A new idea that's forming in your mind. These are seeds of inspiration, and they are gifts from the universe. I feel like the Spirit is dropping ideas into your mind. And that is your garden that you are being called to cultivate so that you can bring those things to fruition. Now, on a practical level, it could also talk about a new or increasing an activity in the natural world. I don't know if you're creating a garden for yourself or you're creating some space where you can draw on your peaceful energy or draw on something that's going to be beneficial for you. This may even be a need to consider opening some type of business and pursuing some specific career field related to the earth, like agriculture. What's another one? Horticulture, or something like that. You could be someone who also volunteers to go out and help clean up Mother Earth as well. But just remember that for every seed that you plant, right, there will be a harvest. So always make sure whatever it is that you decide to do, understand how you're planting that. The energy of optimism, self-love, and belief that in everything that you do is going to produce some type of effect, some harvest in your life, right? This is about understanding the energetic garden that we want it to grow and expand when it comes to the joy that we can feel in life. I feel like that's the message Spirit is giving. We have more power than we realize. We may even have more power than we're utilizing. Spirit is calling that power forth. The belief in self and the action that we can take and how we take that action is also important. I'll just leave those here. And that's from our Priestess deck, okay? I'm also going to pull from my Oracle 7s deck for more messages. What else do we need to know, Spirit? This is for our mothers for Mother's Day. Spirit has a word for you today. All right, from my Oracle 7s, I have endless possibilities. Tapping into that energy of belief again. Body and soul. Also tapping into, the spiritual versus practical balance. I think every message that we have has a spiritual connotation as well as a practical one, right? There's a sense of balance with what we're talking about today. And then opening to discovery. Overall, I get the energy here that there's something more than what we've allowed ourselves to experience. There's something more than what we see with our natural eye. There's something more that we have to be open to in order to experience it. There's even something more to how we're perceiving our personal experience, right? There's something very practical here. The lily pads, the flower, the dragonfly, which represents transformation, deep transformation, deep growth. But then there's also a silhouette of a spirit here as well. Can you see that? So there's two realities here. There's the 3D. And then there's the 5D, and it's a number 5. There's something about changing. And when we look at body and soul, we're taking a look at ourselves and seeing ourselves as a complete package, nothing missing. Body not separate from the soul, centered in our sense of self. Not only that, but very comfortable in our bodies, very authentic in who we are in our physical health, whatever it is today. Right now at this moment, Spirit wants you to appreciate it. Even if you're someone who's working on, say, a better body, or you're working on a degree, building your mental capacity, right? Building your mental property to a higher value. Spirit wants you to be very appreciative and understand that what it is right now is very much complete already. And wants you to value what it is, even if you're working towards something more. Spirit wants you to understand the value of what it is, even outside of all of that extra. There's a sense of authentic value that you carry, that this is bringing attention to. This may be also calling you to experience or allow yourself to have some form of self-care today, body and soul. Take care of your body, but also do some very valuable self-care on your soul as well. Are you taking care of yourself? Your force, especially as mothers, our first inclination may be to others, to meet others' needs. But Spirit is asking you, are you meeting your needs today? And asking you to check in with yourself. There's some things that can indicate when we're not really meeting our own needs, right? Things like hunger, things like anger, things like loneliness or tiredness. If you're experiencing some of these things right now, it may be time for you to stop and put yourself at the top of your priority list. Take a break from your current focuses and get busy taking care, doing things for and with yourself, because you're worthy of this care, Spirit is saying today. And it doesn't have to be elaborate. That doesn't mean you have to take a trip over to Paris and just pamper yourself. It could be as simple as getting a blanket, going over to the park, grabbing a book, getting all of your favorite snacks, bringing your device so you can put on some soft music, whatever you like. Taking care of yourself, putting everything and everyone else on hold and going to take care of yourself. Then we will be tapping into our best life. Another message that could be coming through from this is about how you are living your authenticity. Are you at ease within yourself? Do you take pride in who you are or how you value yourself, your self-worth? Remember that we are energy, we're souls, and that energy is manifested through the body. A spiritual being having a human experience, and that means you're here on purpose. Even if there are days when you wonder about it, there is an intentional purpose for you being here, just the way you are. There's no one like you. Even if you're a twin, even your twin is not like you. You could be identical twins. You both are individual souls. So there's something here about understanding that. Knowing that you are precious and purposeful. Knowing that you are loved, okay? Now, when we tap into endless possibilities, we're tapping into the fact that because we have connection, and we see these stars here that kind of leads us up to the galaxy. And the galaxy represents this empty space of potential, right? An empty space of potential where anything is possible, anything can happen. Unlimited potential, moving past our limiting beliefs and maybe even the filter of an unhealed past, whatever has happened in the past that's caused us to think a certain way or act a certain way or limit ourselves in a certain way. This is tapping into your awareness, your consciousness to discern that, and also to tap into what is possible. And not only that, having the courage to leap beyond our limits. because that's the only thing that keeps us stuck, is how we see a thing, how we think. We look at the world through a certain lens of our life experiences. And it's personal, it's conditional, and it conditions us. And we call that a filter. That determines what we believe and how we believe, and whether or not we believe that the universe is abundant and there are infinite possibilities. We are the ones that put limits on ourselves. There is a vast degree of limitlessness and infinite range of options. And Spirit is asking you to allow yourself. Open up your expectations. Open up your unconsciousness. And allow that to welcome in abundance. And I know it's difficult, especially when there are certain challenges that we experience, culturally, gender-wise, familial-wise, personally, but that does not negate our ability to believe. Okay? And that's what we're talking about, belief. And so ask yourself what it is that you believe. Do you believe in limitless potential or a limited outcome? It's the choice, what you align yourself with. Do you actually know intuitively that there's more to life than what you actually see with your physical eyes? Do you understand that? And then the second question is, are you willing to act on that knowledge? As you believe, so it will be for you. And your energy will attract its match, in the outer world, according to what you're believing. Because conditions meet expectations. Either things remain the way they are out in your world, all of the various forms, or it becomes more. It's up to you. And everything will, in fact, shift. And I tell you this out of experience. Everything will shift as you open yourself up to greater versions, not only of yourself, but of the world that you live in, the meaning to life. Be open to discovering opportunities that better reflect the truth, maybe even your true self too, for those of you that are looking. This is all based on the nature of your relationship, the dynamics of your relationship with Spirit, with the divine. So you're being asked to be open, right? Again, opening. You're being asked to be open. And you can only benefit from that. You can only benefit from that. Because when we talk about energy, we're actually talking about limitlessness. You can't shut an energy up in a room. It will actually find a way out beyond the restrictions of the room. There's small little pieces of data that we actually pull in and collect from the world to form our ideas. And we transfer that vital information through the universe, our experience, which is always speaking to us. And then we need to integrate that information as well and be open to discern about what it is that we want to expose ourselves to. So there's a whole dynamic here happening, and it all lies with us. We have the ability to select what we want to tune our information dial to. what we want to pull in from our environment. And then we get to decide what we will assign meaning to within our experience. Right? There's so much that we know. And I feel like the more that you know, the more you realize you don't know nothing. That's why they say that ignorance is bliss, because when you don't know, you don't know. But once you start knowing, then you realize how much you don't know. And so just consider that. Spirit is wanting you to consider that here, mothers. This is for you. You have yet to even tap into even a small percentage of what is available to you. I feel like that's what Spirit wants you to know here today. I do feel like numbers are relevant in this message, so that's why I pulled out my numerology deck. But there are some numbers that came out already. Number 2, number 12, and number 4. Number 38, number 5, and number 34 could be significant. And then I'm going to pull straight from my numerology deck as well. What numbers may be significant and what message carries through these numbers for today? Please and thank you. All right, so we have the number 6, of course, with love, right? That message would come out today. And I think that's very synonymous with the name that we've been given as mother. That means love, right? But number 6 could be significant as well. When we look at the number 6 as it pertains to the energy of love, this is our ability to see the world through the eyes of love and to remember that that is the energy that we want to focus in on as being real. Even going beyond the illusion of beauty, right? We're looking at the actual energy of love and align ourselves in that way with our source through intentions from, a soul level. Because the fact of the matter is we attract what we are. So if you are loving, then you will naturally attract in love. And if you pull in anything besides that, you have the right to decline it, access to you. Right? And so this is all about setting the intentions about what it is we're putting out there. And seeing through that energy as well. What are you seeing when you look outside of yourself? And that's what you will surround yourself with in all parts of your love. And if there's any limitations that are restricting you from feeling that or receiving that, this is an opportunity to look at that and address anything that would cause limiting beliefs in that way or holding you back from experiencing love. Maybe you are someone that wants to experience intimate relationships. Many of us are looking for that. But this is calling to take a look inside and ask, is there anything blocking me from receiving that? And how can I get past those? How can I undo the blocks? You can ask that question, right? Yeah. And there may be some adjustments in the answer that we're given when we ask that question. So an example would be if you are someone that's looking to pull in love, maybe we have, like I was saying, if we pull in anything other than that, we have the right to refuse that. Maybe we are accepting certain forms of what we believe to be love that doesn't align with what we want. So maybe we need to adjust some things. And I know as women, right? When we look for love, we're looking for a certain type. Well, maybe it's time to be open for a different type. I know my thing used to be big forearms, very superficial things, big forearms, or, something very superficial on the outside. Not that those things aren't important. You want healthy aspects, characteristics, but at the same time, are there things that are more important than that we should be looking for if we are looking for love? Then what's on our priority list? Big arms is not going to keep you safe. Big arms are not going to make you feel appreciated and loved, right? What if that's the only thing that the person is bringing to the table is physical attributes? Well, there's so much more to what I desire than just physical attributes, which may cause us to go in and reconsider what it is that we're looking for. That may cause us to have to reanalyze what we consider our type. Is that really important? And is that really what you want? Now, for all sakes and purposes, if you want something superficial, and it doesn't matter whether or not they are going to be integral, by all means, if that's what you want. But if you want something different, this card is calling you to look within. And this is not just concerning love, intimate love. This could also be concerning relationships, connections, friendships, business connections, whatever that is, right? And then today is a day where we may allow ourselves to splurge a little. Spirit may also be saying to take it in moderation. Don't do too much, right? Limit yourself. Less is better, I feel like, is what Spirit is saying here. There's something about having a level of self-control, not doing too much, especially today being a day where we get to be spoiled and do the things that we love. Spirit is still saying, do it in moderation, okay? Less is more, okay? Celebrate yourself. Do what's best for you. Not necessarily what feels best, but what is going to be best in the long run. And it may be restricting yourself, not that you can't do or have, but place a limit on it. Place some type of boundary on it for yourself, okay? Be responsible. You can be free and adventurous, but also be responsible by honoring your commitments that you may have made. Okay? By choosing, maybe to choose your higher self rather than giving into your lower tendencies. Align yourself with your higher power today. We all have this thing that we call a shadow side that definitely needs to be embraced and acknowledged and loved. But when we learn what's best, we learn to rise above that and make better decisions. So in the long run, we can still meet our goals. And then something about the environment. Now, this is a master number 44. So this may be talking about what you are around today, because it's talking about environment and focusing on being aware of your environment. Maybe that's educating yourself about what's going on behind the scenes, right? Remember, there's two aspects of our experience. It's the physical, but then there's also a spiritual or energetic reality too. What's happening in both of them? Spirit is calling you to be aware of what's happening not only in your environment, but what's happening behind the scenes. Today is a day where you may, as I stated, go out to decide to do something for Mother Earth, help to clean up, because we all are living on Mother Earth. You may take a moment to stop and acknowledge and recognize how honored we are to have something as beautiful as Mother Earth, or because we're talking about environment. So this is really taking a look around and being appreciative and recognizing the value that we've been given. Not only that, but also digging behind the scenes. It's not just the surface level, but what's happening spiritually, energetically, personally, politically. And how does that relate to our environment? How does that relate to planet Earth? Right? Today may be a good day to put on a documentary that will educate you. Yeah. And there are practical things we can do, like recycle. We can use environmental friendly products. There's something about being called to be responsible for your environment. Yeah. Make adjustments in that way, or create another level of harmony that will help the rhythm and the cycles, not only of our personal life, but of our environment as well. So this may be being called to educate ourselves and those that we're connected to so that we can work together to build a better harmonious. 44 is all about healing, to heal our environment. This is all about showing respect to Mother Earth today. Today is Mother's Day. She's the master mother of us all. She's the reason why we can breathe and, drink fresh water, and we can grow food. She's the major reason why we are alive and sustained. So there's something that needs to be given back in that aspect. Ooh, I just had a major realization. Wow, that's coming through today. So that's going to resonate with somebody, I know, because it's definitely resonating for me. Wow. Okay. And then I'm also going to pull a few cards from my African Goddess Rising. What message comes out for our mothers today? Ooh. Now, sometimes this one be pulling out messages, y'all. Let's see what's to be said. All right. Okay, so we have Oya, bringing in the energy of storms. We have Saralakali, is tapping into divine lineage. Aren't these beautiful? This light does not do the color justice, but they are so beautiful, let me tell you. And there's another 6 coming out here. And then we have Yemaya, which is bringing in the energy of awakening, okay? And this taps into the energy of African spirituality, but there's some very powerful messages that come through these decks, let me tell you. So number 13, 6, and number 40. When we look at Oya, all of these have various elements of blue. So this one has a lot of blue. For me, blue, when we look at the chakra system, we're looking at the throat chakra. We could also be looking at the crown chakra as well. That has hues of blues. Mostly the throat chakra. So this could be all about expression. But let's see. So Oya is from the culture of Yoruba, which is Nigerian. And she is actually from the Temple of Warriors, okay? And what do warriors stand for? They are the ones who stand on the front line of true internal power. When we look at the Temple of Warriors, we're looking at the radiation of energetic power, right? And then not only blue, but we have little sparks of yellow coming out here, which is talking about our solar plexus as well, our self-empowerment, how we want to use what we have, who we are to show up in the world. So that may be of inspiration for someone who's looking to show up in their giftings in the world, right? What is it that you do? And how can you show up authentically in the world that way? How can you share that with the world? How can you add to what it is that this experience we're having together as a collective? How can you add who you are, what you've been called to do to show up in the world in that way? We're coming through the energy, the element of water, which is all about this fluidity, very flexible energy, very emotional, intuitive, and very cleansing energy. So this may be about wielding your power, and it is the throat chakra. So this is about, the sword of truth, being able to live in your truth, speak your truth, being able to handle what arises as a result. Her description is storms. And when we think of storms, we're looking at these clouds, winds. I see lightning here, bringing some kind of shift, fast shift, uncontrollable change. At times, it even feels a little chaotic. So for whoever you are, your calling, the way you've been called to show up in the world may cause a little bit of, what's the word? It may cause change in the worst way, but for the best good. There must be a little bit of rain sometimes, or else we would never appreciate the sunshine. And sometimes storms clear the way of old things so that change can happen, right? Sometimes slowly, sometimes fast, but it's so that change can happen. So is there anything that you would desire to change? And if so, are you actively doing anything to change it? Or are you choosing to just accept it? This may be a time to focus on what it is that you want. And no longer give energy to what is not working, but focus on what you want. Because when it comes to making change, it's up to us. We can't look around and ask, well, why hasn't anything changed? The question is, what have you done to change it? If you see there's a problem and it bothers you, sometimes that is your calling. Sometimes that is your ministry. Sometimes the biggest thing holding us back is us. If you want people to treat you better, you go first. You treat you better. Right? And so this is not to beat yourself up or cause any feelings or self-harm, anything like that. This is about you honoring your journey. Be honest with yourself. Tell yourself the truth and then practice self-compassion around it. But make the shift happen, even if it causes storms around you, right? There's something about what you've been called to do that will in fact cause storms. But with those storms come change. That may be what you are being called to do. Do it, okay? Do it. Mothers, you are powerful. You're powerful. And then we have divine lineage coming in at number 6, Sara Lakali. And I hope I'm saying that right. She's a goddess from divine lineage. from the country of Romani, that's over in Egypt. And she is from the Temple of Ancestors. And the ancestors are deified, excuse me. And so they have been exalted and lifted up. They're deified historical figures. And these particular assignments for the ancestors, they are to govern basic survival needs and radiate energetically. We see a little bit of red, not a lot, but they do radiate through that color. And the part of the body is the lower part. So below the torso is the part of the body that is governed by the Temple of Ancestors. Again, this is water energy again. We see a lot of water behind her. You could be a water sign. All three of these have water. And we're talking about fluidity, intuition, energy, cleansing, emotional energy. And what that means, Sarah Kali, it basically means Sarah the Black. She was an Egyptian prophetess. So you could be someone who has, that's why that energy is coming out a lot about the voice, speaking. You may be someone who is called to speak or give some type of space to oral history when it comes to the lineage, divine lineage. There's something about that keeps it relevant, keeps it alive, keeps the power where it should be, and protecting that Holy Grail. And guess what the Holy Grail is? It's you. It's us. It's those coming after you. So the ancestors are absolutely divine ones that walk beside and within you. Spirit wants you to trust that. Just because they have passed on to the next part of their journey don't mean that they cease to be. They've just transformed in another form. And they want to remind you that you're not alone, that they are rooting for you loudly. When the Bible says there's a great host of witnesses, what do you think that means? But you're being asked to honor your spirit guides and reach out to them. And the power of the divine, whatever that is for you, right? And so there's something here about you acknowledging that, this ancestral power that is with you, and find a way to acknowledge that within your experience. And not only that, to build upon the relationship with your ancestors. Speak their names. Just because they're gone doesn't mean that they're gone, right? They could be blood related or culturally or spiritually connected to you. You are them and they are you. That's what they want you to know right now, mothers. And you have a responsibility, not only to yourself, but those coming after you. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. You have a responsibility. Yemaya. This is powerful. Yemaya is all about the awakening. And it's a number 40. Look at this picture. She's pregnant in the water, about to give birth. Dolphins are playing around her, which actually are one of the smartest animals, maybe even smarter than humans, right? Yemaya is, and they're playing around her while she's giving birth. What is that saying? Yemaya is also from the country of Yoruba, and Nigeria, excuse me, the culture of Yoruba. And she is a high priestess. Okay. So I'm talking to change makers. I'm talking to ancestral connectors, bloodline changers, bloodline guardians, and I'm talking to high priestesses. And it's all about intuition, cleansing, emotional energy, and having this sense of fluidity about you, right? Now, when we look at the Temple of High Priestesses, the Temple of High Priestesses come, and their particular purpose for this position is all about keeping mysteries. They are the keepers of mysteries. They are holders of secrets and things to come. Their energy is really we're looking at the crown of the head, which vibrates with the color purple. You see all these colors in here, these purples, right? These are all about identity, calling. Do you know who you are? Do you know what position you have been called to stand in this lifetime? Is what this is asking. Yemaya brings the awakening, right? There's a lot of energy around water here. Yemaya also is dealing with the water and has a lot of power as it pertains to water. Even when we look at her giving birth, what's inside of her belly? Not just the baby, water, amniotic fluid that is nurturing before we even are brought into the world. But it also talks about this sense of connection before we even know who we are, the sense of nurturing before we come into being, this healing and loving energy from a mother, a Yoruba cultural mother. We're talking about the Orisha. So we are talking about deity energy, but we're talking about the energies that have never left. They are still residing within. Do you know who you are? She's bringing the awakening and telling us to wake up, awaken to your true self, to who you are. She's also crying. We know that it's painful to give birth. But are those tears of joy because she's giving birth, or are they tears of sorrow? It doesn't matter. Let them fall. Let the tears roll. Yemaya comes to swallow and to embrace those tears. For someone, I feel like you're vibrating really at a high frequency. This energy is very high frequency. So you see everything. Not only do you see everything, you see it different than the average person, right? We see like a golden halo in the back. This is the goddess rising, the divine feminine. We're talking about the divine feminine. You're waking up. I'm talking about us as a whole. The divine feminine is awakening. And once you wake up, you can never go back to sleep. Once you see, you can never not see. And it's not a straight path. The path to awakening is one that, first of all, we have to choose it, because we have to lift ourselves out of the unconscious. We have to lift the veil, right? So that we can have a real honest conversation, a real relationship with the divine. Right? This is not about being in the world. It's about transcending the world, really. We are in it, but we are not of it. There's a whole nother experience going on. This is about tapping into that experience. Right? And ascend to our divine purpose. And while we do that, yes, we are digging in the soil and planting ourselves, but it is purposeful. We're being planted as a source of awakening for wherever we are planted. And while we do that, we are receiving and radiating love. Okay? Do you know who you are? That's the message that's coming out here with African Goddess Rising. What else would you like for us to know? I'm just going to pull a little tarot before I get our ending message. This has been a beautiful message for someone, and I'm manifesting that this reaches whoever it is meant for, whoever needs to hear this today or any other day. This is also going to be stamped as a timeless message. I'm doing it on Mother's Day as a Mother's Day, a tribute, but it's for any day. Whenever you come across this message, it will, in fact, resonate. What is it that you want us to know, Spirit? What else? Do we need any more? I think that was it. Okay. So I do have the Wheel of Fortune. And this is my Muse Tarot deck. 5 voices. And the Queen of Emotions. And on the bottom, the 8 of Voices. Okay. And this is what we may not be seeing in all of this. And so to start off with the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune is an energy that brings us to the idea that there is something happening behind the scenes that may have a little to do with us. It is about us, but it has a little to do with us. There is an acknowledgement of something beyond us. The wheel can actually represent a very lucky time for advancement, to move ahead, or it's some type of fate that is happening or destiny. We look at this like the Wheel of Fortune, which is very unpredictable because we don't have any control over it, right? There's ups, there's downs. When we're looking at life, there's cycles of change that take place. There's this energy of experience. Like I said, we've been here before. We got the t-shirt for it, having ups and downs, having had all those experiences, and has learned how to live life to the fullest despite all of it, without experiencing the absence of like fulfillment and enjoyment and satisfaction from time to time. We get to feel that every now and then. But there's the idea here that there's the enjoyment that we've learned to experience in all stages, accepting what is, what will rise. If it falls, it falls. With the world, we're talking about these cycles that are happening. And I love the fact that they've demonstrated the moons, how they change, how they, bring in these different seasons, these different moods, these different cycles, these different rhythms. And she is learning to love it. Yeah. And there's the idea of some healing that happens behind all of this. Yeah. And so there's something here about acknowledging something beyond us, being content in any situation, learning that. And we also have the Five of Voices. Now, this is all about a mental energy. When we look at the voices, we're talking about swords energy. So this could be, and then the fives represent change, right? There's some change to maybe how we're seeing ourselves. There's a reflection here. There's a mistletoe, or is that a mistletoe or an olive branch? Either way, there's something about making peace with self. Five of Voices can sometimes come across as a conflictual card, inner conflict, feelings of defeat, learning from our lessons when it pertains to loss or fighting. This may also come out as a card of winning at all costs. It is an olive branch. I see the little olives on there, extending some form of grace or olive branch and looking at what's really important. Yeah. So there could be some internal things that we need to deal with within ourselves that may place us in this energy, right? Of competition, of cruelty towards others, of having to feel like we always have to be, on top, or there's something about coming to peace with self. Coming to peace with self. Because even when we win, sometimes when we win at all costs, it's not even winning. Because when we get to the top, after we have stepped on people and, backstabbed people or did whatever we needed to do to win, it's not even a win because it doesn't even feel victorious after we have wounded so many to get where we are. There's something about looking inward here with this card. It does matter. I hear that's what Spirit is saying. It does matter. Because there is some need to reflect back. Yeah. I do feel like this is a personal card that's asking us to look within and see, do we find any of that within us? And is there a better way? And I don't know if anybody could be dealing with that. I don't know. But this is all about how we want to feel when it's all said and done. If we're looking for the victory, if we're looking to be prosperous, right? How do we want to feel when we get to the top? And the actions that we take to ensure that we can feel that way without having certain repercussions to how we got there. Maybe even taking a look at the costs associated with the win that we want. Not resenting failure either. Sometimes failure is necessary to win. That sometimes is part of the process to the win. Just because there's a failure doesn't mean it's over. That means that the way we went about it didn't work. Sometimes there's a need to find a different way. Failure is an opportunity to learn. We also could consider it, character development as well. So there's something about that coming out for us here in this message, mothers. Five of Swords. And sometimes this is us needing to make sure that we're not allowing ourselves to be treated by others to be used by others, to allow them to climb us like a ladder of success to get where they want to be and then discard us, right? It's making sure that we're not treating people that way, or to make sure that we are not allowing ourselves to be treated that way either, because then we come to the Queen of Emotions. And this is that water energy that we felt so prevalently here with our African Goddess Rising message. This is the Queen of Cups, which brings a lot of beautiful energy. Look at her. She knows who she is. Very confident, very sure, right? This is where we want to be, in love, operating in our emotional intuition and intelligence, in our creativity, joyful, finding meaning and finding meaningful connections as well. You know, having beautiful relationships and finding moments for self-care and self-love, operating in our very natural feminine aspects, feminine nature. Again, she's behind a C. She's in front of a C, I'm sorry. And this is also being able to access those deep emotional feelings, not being afraid to do that, and being able to share that as well. This is a go-to person. But not just any person, like she is trustworthy. This is not someone who will run off and exploit you after you have confided in her. She's trustworthy. And it's bringing me to the thought of my grandmother, who she passed on. She went to she transcended over with a lot of secrets. She had a lot of kids and a lot of grandkids, and we all messed up, and we all went to her with our little dirty, dark secrets when stuff happened. She took all that to the grave. She didn't go running telling as soon as we confided in her. She was a safe place, a safe haven. This is the energy we're talking about, the Queen of Cups. Right? Rising with all that flows integrously. She's kind of like a bridge between the heart and the experience of the world that flourishes around us. Very connected, very balanced, very fluid, right? That feminine nature that is inviting us to find out more, even to discover ourselves, to do the work if there's any to be found, to grow in our love and our compassions for ourselves and others, to grow in our creativity and our passions in life. And then to connect back to our authentic selves, our authentic emotions, not being afraid to be vulnerable. And all of that, right? She comes and shows us the way, how we can seek alignment so that our actions and our words and what's going through our mind, how we are releasing into the world, all beat rhythmically with what is truly being felt within us. She invites us to see ourselves as we truly are and make no, excuses about it. Do it unapologetically. And to feel your essence while doing it. Be honest about what you're really feeling. This is a very nurturing energy, very caring energy. And it's one who serves for the purpose of kind of like spiritual cleansing even. Right? This is like the energy that you can encounter and walk away feeling freer or renewed, liberated, right? This is like Spirit is letting us know this is what is profitable. This is what the world needs, mothers. Strong empathy without the energetic baggage of having to take on other people's stuff. One that breeds intuition, creativity, and, growth joyously, constant development. And so this is a very beautiful energy. If we were talking biblically, we would be talking about the Proverbs. Is it Proverbs 31? The Proverbs woman. But this is beautiful. It's beautiful. And it's not, it's something that we can strive to be. We all have work to do. Was my grandmother a perfect woman? No. But that's who this reminds me of when I read that. Very compassionate woman, but she wasn't a pushover either. She knew who she was, but she loved well. I'm going to get one last message of encouragement while we end this message for Mother's Day. And though it is a timeless message, you could run across this any day. This is for you. Okay. What last messages do we have for our beautiful, wonderful, amazing mothers out there? One more. What ending messages can we send them away with for encouragement today? Just one more. I got two more, so one fell. Let me get it. So I guess we're going to do 4. I have self-love, reframe, love, and then outrageous openness. Self-love, reframe, love, and outrageous openness. Spirit is saying to allow the wall to fall that separates us from our own vulnerability, from our own inner child, because we long to take care of ourselves like never before. In this picture, there is a grown person walking with a child. That child is the grown person, caring for the younger version of themselves. There's no shame in allowing your inner child to come out. I think we should be a balance of our developed selves, our grown selves, but not denying our inner child. It's very healthy to allow your inner child to come out, especially for those that may need continuous healing of the inner child. Allow yourself to care for your inner child. It's okay to give your inner child what it wants every now and then. If your inner child wants you to go swing on a swing, ladies, go. Allow yourself a few moments to sit on that swing and satisfy your inner child. That's healthy. That's self-love. Spirit wants you to understand what's being given right now is a gift. What's happening in your life right now, whatever it is a gift. Look again. It's not happening to you, but it's happening for you. And when we look at our divine source, this is really the understanding that there is no person, place, or thing that serves your highest good. Only love can do that. This is a time to be open to yourself and be released from anything keeping you from that, any attachments. And so we are asking right now that Spirit allows us, helps us to be open, not only to our own self, but to the will of the divine, of our higher power, of that which is greater than we. We are open to be surprised and delighted with your plan, which is higher than our plan. We may not see it clearly, but we're open to it because you can see further than we can see. And you know what is needed. And so we stand open to receive. Okay. So I hope this has been encouraging to you. I hope today has poured love on you and showed appreciation for all that you have done and continue to do. Mothers, we do love you. Yes. And so that is the message of the day. We're going to leave it there. Like, share, subscribe. If this is your first time coming across the page, welcome. Welcome to Blood Moon Oracle. And may you receive all that is due. Okay, for all the work that you've done, for all the love that you give, may you receive double for your trouble. And we'll talk to you next time. Bye.